What's up, guys? Chris here again with Aquarium Conversations. Somebody the other day asked me a question, and I really think uh, more people would kind of talk about this, and some people have, but you know, um, with all the various size tanks that are out there that you can pick up at your local fish store, whether they're store branded tanks, your the little plastic or acrylic uh, tanks you can get from your Petco's and PetSmarts, or the 5 gallon, the 2.5 gallon, the 10 gallon, 20 gallon. I mean, there's literally, and I think even now with like the custom shops, there's literally an infinite probably number or sizes of tanks you can purchase. Obviously, there's going to be the ones your 55s, your 75s, your 20s, your 10s, your 90s, those kind of, staples that are in the hobbies. Um, but the question that was presented to me was, Chris, perfect tank size for a beginner. What would you pick? And it's funny, I think back to the tank I purchased when I got started. It was a 2.5 gallon, 2.6 gallon, excuse me, Fluval spec that I picked up on Amazon. And um, I recently just got rid of that tank just because I think something cracked on it. It really didn't hold water. But every time I see that tank, there's definitely some sentimental value there. But when I start that small 5 gallon, I guess now knowing what I know and what I really enjoy about the hobby, and so much of it is geared towards the health of the fish. And just as there's probably so many endless possibilities of tank sizes, there's literally thousands, or there might be endless possibilities of what kind of fish um, you would be interested in. And ideally, I would kind of start there with, do your research on what kind of fish you want to keep, and that might very well determine on what size tank that you need. You want to keep Oscars, so you're going to need a large tank, probably at minimum 75, 90, something like that. And depending on, you know, how many you want to keep, you might need something bigger than that. You want to keep, one angelfish. Hell, you could probably put one angelfish, in a 15-gallon tank. But if you want a dozen of them, you probably need a 75 or maybe 55, something like that. Saltwater, freshwater, um, South American cichlids, African cichlids. So I would say before you buy anything, do the research on what kind of fish you're interested in. So spend the time at your local fish store, and I'm not necessarily saying your Petco's, your PetSmart. No knock on the staff that works there, but they're also running a grooming center. They're also stocking shelves, doing inventory, cleaning up, when a dog goes to the bathroom. So I guess what I'm saying is their mind is essentially bouncing around to a lot of different places. So I would go to your kind of mom and pop local fish store, to where you're going to be dealing with multiple people who are well educated on fish in the aquatic hobby. I would start there. And a bigger tank size doesn't necessarily mean that it's harder than keeping a smaller tank, and vice versa. You've heard me talk about before about water changes and things like that, and maintenance, and that definitely comes into play when you're talking about different tank sizes. But if I had to pick a tank that I think gives you different stocking opportunities, although you don't have to necessarily break the bank on one of those. Stands don't cost that much. Lighting shouldn't cost that much. A heater shouldn't cost that much. The 29 gallon would be my ideal tank for a beginner. You can see what I got in here. I've got, I think there's 4 angelfish in here. I got some tetras, some larger tetras in here. I've got some decorations. I've had this tank for a while now. I've had it, oh boy. I want to say I've had it planted. I did salt water once. This is now bare bottom. This was a Petco $1 per gallon. Tank cost $30. The stand, this Brooklyn stand that Petco sells, cost, I don't know, $49.99, something like that. The light was $20. These little internal filters, this whole setup, as far as this tank stand, filtration, heater, light, maybe $130. The dimensions on this tank, and if I'm incorrect, somebody correct me, but 30 inches long, 12 inches deep, and I believe 18 or 20 inches high, I believe, is the dimensions of that tank. It's big enough that it can go in a living room. It's small enough to where, you can put it next to your bed like I have mine. There's, like I said, you could set up a salt water, which, like I said, you could put, probably 20, 25 pounds of live rock in there. I've got some dragonstone in there and some fake plants. You could do a really cool, I'll have to find a video. But I know I had this set up as a really, really cool planted tank. Stocking, like I said, I've got angels and tetras in there. You could probably do, if you want to do all neons, you could probably do 15, just a school of neons. You could do some smaller, ram cichlids in there, maybe 4 or 5 of those. Saltwater, clownfish. You could do a couple of the blue-green chromis, maybe some damsels, something like that. You might be able to get away with maybe one, dwarf angel, something like that, or a rusty angel or something like that. One of those bicolored angels, So this tank, it's not too small, it's not too big. Oh, and like I said, as far as maintenance, it doesn't take you. You're not waiting all damn day for the tank to drain to 50%. When you're doing your water changes, it doesn't take that long to maintain it. What else? What else am I thinking? Easy to replace. God forbid if something would happen. It's $30. Go back to Petco during the $1 gallon, $1 gallon sale and pick up another one. So a lot of versatility with this tank size. I've always enjoyed this particular size. It's one of the earlier tanks that I bought. Like I said, a lot of versatility with tank setup or how you want to scape it, fresh and saltwater. Lot of versatility, I believe, with stocking. No, you're not going to put an Oscar in here. You're not going to put any larger cichlids in here. Another benefit to this tank, and what I used it for months, was just a grow out tank. So some of the larger cichlids I have started it out in here as babies. A quarantine tank, great size tank for a quarantine tank. So super versatile. Like I said, I would recommend it as someone's first tank, but I'd also recommend maybe just keeping 1 or 2 of these around for a hospital tank, quarantine tank, something like that. So, like I said, inexpensive, doesn't cost a whole lot to set up. Your imagination can run with a tank this size for sure, unlike, a 2-gallon tank or 3-gallon tank or something like that. And again, you don't have to worry about spending a fortune to set something up, like a 75 or 90 or 120, something like that. So I'll leave it there, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your ideal tank size would be for a beginner. Let me know what your thoughts are on the 29 gallon. And I will leave it there. And as always, I look forward to your comments and questions. And I'll see you guys down the road. Bye.